So it is currently, I don't know if you guys can see that on my background, 3:36 Wednesday, October 22nd. And I'm going to take you through a day in the life of a husband, father, and special ed teacher. That's right. I am not a fitness enthusiast, or I'm not a fitness creator. I am not a business owner. I am not a trainer or anything like that. I am just like most people who have families, married, and trying to make a living to support their family, like most of you guys who watch this channel. So you will get a real, raw, uncut day of what my day looks like. So like I said, it's 3:37, but before we jump into this day, I gotta eat my pre-workout meal. So pre-workout meal doesn't look very appetizing, but I promise it is. It is just overnight oats, which my overnight oats, all it is 40 grams of oats, 140 grams of almond milk, 20 grams of honey, and then 1 scoop of whatever protein you want. So I just went with Formula One vegan. I think it's chocolate. I'm not going to put the macros. If you guys are interested in the macros, I just did a full day of eating. But I'm basically consuming 3,000 calories every single day right now. That's my maintenance. So I'm going to eat this. I used to work out fasted, and sometimes I still will, depending on what day it is. But today I got legs, so decided to have my pre-workout meal right now. Alright, so for pre-workout meal, I go with, for some carbs and electrolytes, 1 scoop of Ultraformance. For basically beta-alanine, creatine, all the non-stim pre-workout essentials, I go with Enduriformance, so 1 scoop of that. And then for a little bit of caffeine and focus, I go with Megawatt Sour Gummy Worm. This is what it looks like. So I will sip on that. I will start sipping on that once I get to the gym. So I'm gonna put on my shoes and then headed to the gym. 3:49 and I made it to the gym. Obviously my gym is my garage. So this is what my gym looks like. It's probably the biggest dad hack you can have when it comes to trying to be fit and in shape as a husband and a father is get yourself a garage gym. The main reason why is you save so much time that you could reinvest not only in yourself, but in your relationship with your wife, being there for your daughter or your child, because I save time on not having to commute. I save time on not waiting for machines. I save time on not having conversations with people at the gym, and all that extra time that I save, now I get it, like I said, invested into my family. So if you are a dad and you do not, I would highly recommend build yourself a garage gym. Start small and eventually work up to it, because this gym was not an overnight thing that I built. But anyways, if you can't really hear me, it's because my ice bath is chilling right now. It's trying to get it down to 48 degrees. Let's see what it's at. So it's at 48, so it should shut off soon. Alright, so now I come into the portion of my day where I fortify my mind. So basically what that looks like, if you've followed me before, you already know what I'm about to say, but if you're new to the channel, this is what it looks like. So start every day with reading my daily devotional. Basically, Jesus Listens by Sarah Young. Really like this daily devotional. I've had a couple in the past, but that's like my favorite one right now. And then I'll read a page of that, and then I'll go into the Maxwell Leadership Bible. Basically the Bible, but broken down by John C. Maxwell, which is like a leadership guru. He ties in different verses, different people from the Bible, and how they were leaders and qualities that made them a leader. Once I am done reading some of that, I usually read about 5 pages, and then I'll read a section from Proverbs. So I'll read 10, since today is the 22nd. I will read the 22nd chapter of Proverbs today. And then once I'm done with that, I usually do about 15 minutes to 30 minutes of some type of personal development book. So right now I'm on the Greatness Guide. I just finished I think the book was called The Mountain Is You. Really liked that book. That book was basically about self-sabotage and getting out of your own way when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your goals in life, and how you yourself and the stuff that's up here could technically get in your way of achieving those goals. So anyways, I'm gonna do that, and then all right, memory card filled up, so I don't know where I left off, but I'm gonna do this. Like I said, my fortifying my mind usually takes about anywhere from 20 to 40 minutes. So about halfway through that, I will start sipping on my pre-workout, so that basically when the workout starts, I start feeling the juices running through me, and I actually feel like working out. Because right now, I definitely don't feel like working out, and it's 3:55. So I have to get all this done and inside by probably about 6:15, because I got to get my daughter ready to drop her off at my parents' house. So time to start moving. All right, mine is fortified. It took me about 40 minutes. Daily devotional, recap. I always like to recap what I read, so that way I make sure that I actually was paying attention when I read. And certain days, I know there was too much on my mind because I can't recount what I read. Daily devotional was basically about trusting in God to lead you throughout the day instead of relying on like yourself, but use the word to guide you with your decisions and have faith that he will guide you through. And then in the actual Bible, I read about the walls of Jericho and how they came down and how they took down the walls, which was quite funny because they even say like Joshua had to have faith in the Lord telling him to march around the city for I think 13 days, I think it was, chanting, and then the walls will come down. So again, more about having faith in following through on God's plans and not just so much your plans. That was what they were focusing on with leadership. And then my personal development book that I'm reading, they actually talked about how it doesn't matter how much success you have in life, if you do not take care of your health and your family, you will be unhappy and quote unquote unsuccessful. He was talking about how he meets with a lot of successful people, and usually they are unhappy. And when he asks them why they are unhappy, it's because they say like, oh, I built a business, but in building that business, my health declined and my family doesn't know who I am, which again, that just resonates with me because my family is my entire world, and that is why I do what I do. But now it is time for leg day. So for yesterday, I did a deca-mile simulation. I was supposed to do it on Sunday, but schedules didn't line up with me and Dominic, so we ran it yesterday when I got home from work. We did it in 21 minutes, and I think that's actually pretty good. I was gonna look up the leaderboards and see like what is a decent time for the deca-mile for duos or whatever. So I'm a little sore from that. My lower back is feeling, I have a lot of aches and pains. If I'm being honest, I gotta stop knocking off these. I have a lot of aches and pains. My left shoulder blade has been nagging for like weeks now. My right lower back, which always gives me issues, is nagging. And then my lat from Saturday's workout still feels weird. So I don't know what's going on, but I'm supposed to get a massage. I think I'm gonna schedule it for after my race on Sunday, and hopefully that gets rid of them. But anyways, so I got my deca-mile on Sunday. So I did the deca-mile simulation yesterday. Today I'm gonna go through a leg workout. I have something written down here, scheduled. However, I'm gonna kind of feel it out. If I start to feel pain, or if it just starts to feel like I'm gonna get injured, then I will just dial it back and maybe get some more cardio in. Nothing crazy for these next couple days as I lead in to basically my last event for the year. This will finish off all my events from Spartan races, Deca races. No high rocks this year. I wasn't able to get one in, but hopefully next year. So I'm gonna enjoy this last race and then kind of just revamp, heal, focus on getting better, all my injuries, and then just enjoy the last 2 months basically of the year's 90-day reset is going in full effect. So on the agenda today, I'm gonna do some type of jumps. I've been incorporating those more just so that I like to do explosive training. Not saying I'm explosive, that's why I'm training for it. I've been reading a lot, watching a lot, listening to a lot of just different things about how it is very important as you get older for longevity to keep explosive training into your training. So jumping, skipping, sprinting, all that stuff, I'm trying to incorporate it back in because I know there's truth to that statement, because when I try to sprint and I try to be explosive, I feel not at all. I do not feel athletic, which makes me realize that I need to start doing it more so that I don't lose that feeling. It keeps me young for my daughter. So start off with some jumps. I have not back squatted or front squatted in a very long time just because of my lower back. So I'll probably do some RDLs. I'll probably do some Bulgarian split squats. I might do some step ups or lunges. And then I'll probably finish off with some leg extensions, leg curls. And then depending on where I'm at time-wise, I might do some core work. And then that will wrap up today's workout. So let's get into this leg day. Legs and core are done. Workout took 54 minutes. It is currently 5:47, so by now Cassie should be up and she should be getting ready for work. So now I have to go in, shower, kind of get ready, pack all my meals. My meals are already prepped. Pack all my meals for work, get Adeline ready, and then the goal is to get her to my parents' house at around 7 o'clock. So again, it was only a 54-minute leg workout, but I want to say I did 5, 4, 4, 4, so 12, 17, and then another 4. I did basically 20 or so sets of legs, which is really that's really all you need. And then I did 3 times 4. I did 12 sets of core work. So for all of that in 55 minutes, very doable as a dad, because that's really what this whole channel is geared towards, is being not your average dad and doing things that the average dad won't do, meaning you don't look like, you don't act like, you don't talk like, and you don't love like the average dad. So 55 minutes is more than enough. Plus, I think I'm at about 5,000 steps already for the day. So very effective morning routine. It sets me up for the day in many ways. One, I did something physical, obviously through my workout. I did something mentally from reading personal development. I did something spiritually from doing the daily devotional and then reading the actual Bible. So it's a really good way to set yourself up and, like I said, fortify your mind. I'm in a good positive state of mind right now, so that when I get to school, when I get around my family, I'm operating at 100% and I'm feeling good, which is what my wife, my daughter, and everybody I come in contact with deserve. Does it work all the time? Absolutely not. If I have a lot on my mind mentally, just run down, beat down, it's not gonna fortify you 100% every single time, but I guarantee that I would say probably 5 out of 7 days, maybe even 6 out of 7 days, I am operating at a very positive, effective state of mind due to this morning routine. So I'm a firm believer. I've read it a lot, I've heard it a lot. Wake up early, do stuff for yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually, and it sets you up for the success for the rest of the day. Not your average dad, message of the day. 6:38. I'm all showered. Cassie had just left for work, and the little mama is getting ready. All right, Mama, you're good. Very pretty. Is it good?
Wait, no, there's one more.
There's one more? Okay. Oh, yeah, you're right. One more. Daddy messed up. All right, you're good to go, Elsa. Good?
Yes.
All right. Once you're done with that, brush your teeth, okay, Mama? So all my meals I prep the night before. So the 2 meals that I will be bringing to work with me today, I got ground beef, 7 ounces with 100 grams of jasmine rice. I got 2 of those, which I will eat. And then this is my afternoon snack, basically Progurt. I prep it the night before, so I'll do the yogurt, I'll do a scoop of level 1 protein, and then I'll do 20 grams of honey. But the final touch is going to be some frozen fruit, along with this chewy dark chocolate granola. I've said it before on my channel. The key is make sure you get the actual chewy. I do not like the crunchy one, but the reason why I don't put the frozen fruit in the night before is because it kind of gets soggy. So I don't like super frozen stuff. Your boy has sensitive teeth and it hurts and it's just not enjoyable. So I'll do 140 on the dot. 140 grams of this. I will eat this in the afternoon, and by putting it in right now, by the time I eat it, it will be thawed out and it will be enjoyable. So 1 serving of mixed fruit, 140 grams, and then basically half a cup of this, which is 55 grams. Weigh that out. And like I said, it's about 640. So I will pack all this stuff. Go check on Adeline, make sure she is all, her teeth are brushed, she's ready to go, she got all her toys, and then we will be out the door at my parents' hopefully by 7.
Yep.
You ready to go to Grandma and Papa's?
Yep.
All right, remember this week we're working on friendship, so think of some ways that you could be kind and sweet while you're at Grandma and Grandpa's, okay? Do you have any ideas of what you're gonna do?
Say hi.
There you go. That's another one.
Yeah.
What's another sweet thing you could do while you're there?
Say hi, and maybe should we play or eat?
Yeah? What about if you make a mess?
Yeah, clean it up.
Clean it up. Always want to clean up our messes, huh?
Remember, I love cleaning too.
Yeah, you sure do love cleaning. Can you turn around, smile? Get the outfit of the day? Oh, fancy girl. All right, you're good.
Okay, fancy.
Fancy girl. You are ready to play. Make sure watch out for the water. Your little princess shoes are gonna get wet. Oh. All right, we made it to work. It is 7:29. I do not even have to be technically here until 8:15. That's when I have to, or I technically am on the clock. I always like to get here early. One, parking. I don't have to deal with any like buses, any students getting dropped off. I don't have to deal with any traffic. So I like to get here early, and then like I said, on days where I have to drop Adeline off at my parents, it just makes sense. So what I will do, today is a shorter day. So on Wednesdays, for those of you who are new to the channel, I am a 9th grade and 11th grade special education English teacher. So on Wednesdays, I like to focus on like reading comprehension, reading fluency. It's a shorter day, so it's a day that obviously is like we take a break from the traditional like whatever lesson we were working on. Currently, we are working on the Odyssey, which the students actually seem to be really enjoying it, especially since it is. I went with the graphic novel, so it's actually like a comic book. So they'll follow along with that. I'll have the visual up on my smartboard, and then also the audio is playing, so it helps them to multiple modalities basically being covered, and that is the purpose of it. Especially when you teach special education, you want to have a lot of different teaching modalities. But anyway, so before I usually get into any of that, first thing I got to do is I got to fuel up. So this is meal number 2. And I always eat this as soon as I get here. So I've been seeing a lot more people do like their morning routine from like 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. And I think there's something psychologically about it that sets you up in that like I'm winning the day already by waking up early. And I was thinking about this after I dropped off Adeline. I've been up since 3:30. In that time, I have eaten, well, this would be my second meal. So from 3:30 to basically 7:30. So for the first 4 hours of my day before I even clock in to my actual job, I will have had 2 meals. I will have got some steps in, so basically some cardio. I will have read my daily devotional, did some personal development, read my Bible, worked out, showered, drank 40? No, however many this is. I think it's like 16 ounces, 32 ounces. Basically drank a liter, I want to say, of water, because I'll drink about 3 of these a day. So I've already drinking that. So I got some water in me, got some protein in me, got 2 meals in me, got physically active, got mentally fortified. Like, there's just a lot of momentum being brought into the day. And like I said, I'll say it again, I think as a husband and as a father, that is something that you should really protect, is your morning routine, because I really feel like it sets you up for the rest of the day, because mentally it's just like, man, I've followed through on what I said I was going to do. I've checked a lot of boxes, and I think, again, that builds momentum. At least that's my own opinion. If you don't believe me, try it. Anytime I tell my students this all the time. If you read something, if you see something, if you hear something, and they're swearing that it works and saying it will change your life forever, I am a firm believer that it's like, I'm going to go in with the mindset of I'm not going to take it as they say it. I'm not going to take them for their word. I'm going to actually test it out and then see if it works. If it doesn't work, you could be like, oh no, they're full of it. It doesn't work. But if it does work, then you just got a good technique that you could use. So I don't know. That's my opinion. But anyways, again, this is my second meal. I call it my post-workout meal because obviously it's what I'm eating after I work out. And again, it's just 93.7 ground beef, 7 ounces of that, and then 100 grams of rice. So I'm gonna do this, dive into some work, prep for the lessons, get everything ready for the day. I'm gonna try my hardest. I'm terrible at it. Anytime I do these full days or a day in the life, I always forget to film as the day goes on because I get so wrapped up in what I'm doing. But I'm gonna try my best to document as I go through this day. So anyways, 7:35, I'll catch up with you guys later. And did not forget about you guys. It is 12:04, which means it is officially lunchtime, and I am hungry, and I'm tired, so I need some energy, some fuel. And guess what is on the menu for lunch today? Oh, would you look at that? Ground beef and rice. Story of my life. So for lunch, like I said, 7 ounces of lean ground beef, exactly what I ate for my post workout meal, and then 100 grams of rice. When it comes to eating and sticking to, I guess it's not so much just eating in life, anything in life. When it comes to when it comes to achieving your goals and everything, you want to find something that, one, you like, but it fits, it works for you. Like the ground beef, the rice, it's simple, it's effective. I like it, and if I like it, I'm going to keep doing it. I've had multiple different meal plans I have followed in the past, and usually I find my staple meals and I stick to them, and that's pretty much it. Like I said, if it's simple and effective, why would you change it? And that can apply for anything in life. So first period, I don't know what's been going on first period, but first period was on one today. And this is why I love teaching. First period was tough, so it starts off the day rough. You don't want to start off the day rough. However, second period, you get a brand new batch of kids. Second period, phenomenal. Completely changed the whole lesson plan. Sometimes I even think, is the lesson I'm doing today not even effective? But you can't base it off of one class because obviously everybody's different. Second was effective. Then I got third period prep, got to recharge, kind of change some things. And fourth period, phenomenal class. Went really well. So I'm going to eat this and then go eat lunch with, it's funny, the guy that I eat lunch with every single day, he was actually my junior and senior year teacher at this school. Phenomenal teacher. And it was funny, my senior year in high school, he was like, man, you know, what are you going to do after high school? And I told him, I was like, oh, I just want to go pro. I want to play football, and that's all I want to do. And he was telling me, he was like, you know, you should really be a teacher. And I was like, dude, there is no shot that I'm going to come back here and become a teacher. And he's like, no, I think you would like it. Like, good benefits, great schedule. I know you're super family oriented. Like, I think you know. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Lo and behold, as soon as I turned 27, I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to become a teacher. I like working with kids. At the time, I was a motivational speaker going around to high schools. And all the teachers were like, you should just be a teacher. And it made sense. And it's the best decision I ever made. I love the schedule. I love what I do. And I'm super biased about it. I think everybody should become a teacher. And I love teaching special ed. A lot of people will ask me, what made you get into special ed? I love working with special ed kids. There's something about them. I like seeing the growth that you can help them with. I like the fact that you are basically like their coach. And you are assigned, you know, a certain amount of kids on your caseload, and you're responsible for their goals, tracking their goals, helping them with transitioning out of high school. And I like that because it's like you are assigned basically to be their mentor for a year or 4 years, whatever it may be. So anyways, I'm going to eat this and then go eat lunch with my buddy. 3:16, which means my day is done. Got a call from our realtor. Right now, me and Cass are in the process of selling our house. We literally just put it up on the market yesterday. It got posted last night, and then our realtor just hit us up saying that someone wants to come see it. So we have to show it tonight, which kind of puts a damper on my plans. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat my third meal, which is, this is usually my night snack, but again, I bring it to work just so it's a little bit easier to eat. This is that yogurt basically that I made this morning, so now it's nice and tasty. It's nice and melted. If I can get my spoon. Eat this really quick. Head home, or head to my parents' house, pick up Adeline, get her, bring her back to my house. I have to prep my meals because I have no meals for tomorrow. So I have to meal prep. Once I'm done with that, then I got to do homeschool with Adeline, which usually takes about an hour, but I will just do it as long as I can. Then I got to straighten up the house a little bit because obviously someone's coming to look at our house. Then I got to go grab Leo, go back to my parents' house while the showing takes place from like 5:30 to 6. Hopefully it doesn't take too long so that I'm not over there that long. That way I can come back home and then finish school with Adeline because it's probably going to take a little bit longer. So you guys are seeing, this is what the normal person deals with every single day. I think. Obviously, maybe not selling your house, but anyways, so I'm gonna eat this real quick, and then you guys will follow along, like I said, through the madness. Madness, and at the same time, blessing, because this is what it is to be a husband, a father, special ed teacher, and a provider. I'm gonna enjoy my yogurt. So, change of plans. I was going to pick up Adeline, but then my mom texted me saying she was still asleep. So I came home. Now the plan, basically what I'm going to do, get the house looking, straighten up the house since we have the people coming to look at it. Yeah, I know, I see you, Leo. While I prep my ground beef. So let me get that all popping. All right, ground beef is done. Rice is still cooking. Now, time to go do laundry. Because Adeline's clothes are all over her bed. They're clean. They just need to be folded. And then it's 4:40, so I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to run a vacuum. And then I think I should be good to go do what I need to do. What I've realized about being a dad, when you sing, it's freaking hot. Holy moly. When you sing, things go by so much faster. And I freaking hate folding laundry. And I'm not going to sit here and act like I do this all the time, because actually Cassie is the one that always folds Adeline's clothes, because she does Adeline's laundry. But I know Cassie would want this to be done. And I want it to be done, obviously, so the house is presentable. I'm not going to lie, though, when I got the call saying that someone was going to come by and look at our house today, and my first reaction was, I don't want anybody looking at my house. And then I kind of realized, like, that's why you put it up on the market, is because you need to sell it. But I did not want to sell it. But we just need a bigger house. We outgrew this one, unfortunately. And I've never moved before. The house that I lived in with my parents and grew up in, my parents still lived in. So I lived in that house. And then Cassie and I got married when I was 26. And then we moved into our first apartment. So that was my technically first own spot. Well, not own spot, because obviously I was married. And then a year later, we bought this house. And that was back in 2017. And now it is 2025. So about 8 years later, I think we're going to be getting a new one. So, all right, it is 5:05. House is vacuumed. Clothes are put away. Food is prepped. Now, this is what separates the average dad and father, or dad and husband, from the not your average dad. So yes, it's great that you can cook. It's great that you could cook your own meals, but however, the main point, what separates you, is when you are done cooking, you clean up the kitchen. Cooking is one thing. Cooking is actually the easy part. And I learned that from my mother. My mother would always cook. And she would always say, I don't mind cooking. I don't like cleaning or picking up. Cleaning up basically the mess. And I don't know anybody who actually likes that. So, one of the mottos that we live by, and this NYAD, Not Your Average Dad channel,
is doing what the average dad or average husband won't do. So take pride. Once you cook, make sure you clean up after yourself. This is 2025, the era when men cook, clean, support, provide, love, care for, listen. I mean, I don't know. Any good quality you could think of, anything that you think your child needs and your wife needs, that's what you need to develop. So anyways, 5:08, the actual realtor just said that now they're running late. They won't be here until 6. So that is going to put a damper on some things and when it comes to Adeline's homeschool. So good thing about homeschool is if I don't get to it tonight, I can probably do it on Saturday. So whatever I missed today, like for instance on Monday night, I did all of her science and social studies with her when I got home from work, so I don't have to worry about that. Now it's just math and English to focus on. And Cassie did it with her yesterday. I planned on doing it with her today, tomorrow. But what I might do is if I miss tonight, I'll do it on Saturday and Sunday. So kitchen is clean. House is ready for them to come and visit. I'm going to grab Leo and then I'm going back to my parents. 6:47. Now it is time for me to prep my meals for tomorrow. So the overnight oats gets prepped right now. We just got back from my parents. The people who were looking at our house were actually not here very long. We don't know what that means. Cass and I were both wondering, is that a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Did they just walk in, they saved, and they were like, I do not want this house at all? Or was it like, man, this is legit, let's buy it? So we shall wait and see. But anyway, actually did not go according to plan. I planned on eating my last meal, which was supposed to be basically eggs. It was my breakfast from my last full day of eating. That was supposed to be what I ate for dinner. However, oh my gosh, we got another showing for tomorrow at 12:15. I don't know how that's going to work. So I was supposed to eat that, but since I was at my parents' house, I just ate what they were making. And my mom is a phenomenal cook, and she made some type of like panini thing sandwich. It was delicious. Had 2 of them, and then a slice of pizza that Cassie brought home. So my diet went out the window. But that is actually realistic. Like I said, today's video is going to be real, uncut, raw, nothing fancy, and that is what happens sometimes. Especially when you are a husband and a father and not a, business owner or any of that. It's all about flexibility and then being consistent 80% of the time. That's how I kind of see things. So I'm going to prep my oats. I'm going to prep my yogurt. I was not able to do school with Adeline since those people were here, and now it's kind of time for nightly routines. So like I said, I will just do that. We'll basically make up on Saturday for it. Not a big deal, but so you did not see my final meal for the day, but you did see basically my entire day.
It is now 7:35, and I'm about to go spend some time with Adeline and watch her show before I hop back into bed. At about 8:39. She'll spend about an hour and a half just spending time with her. We actually might do some stretching. She's been wanting to do a lot of stretching because she's trying to learn how to do the splits for her tumbling and then her dance class. So we may actually do some stretching together. I need to do some rehab. I think I might actually get a massage after my race on Sunday. We actually have to show our house again tomorrow at 12:15. Our realtor just texted us saying that someone else wants to see it, so I'm hoping that's a good thing. Cassie and I are both kind of bummed about it. We are like having mixed feelings, obviously, about selling our house, but I think it's just we have to go see other houses and see what's out there. I think once we find a house that we both really like, I think then it won't be as hard. That's what we're hoping. But anyways, I'll be in bed by about 8:30. My meals are prepped for tomorrow, and my alarm clock will go off at 3:30, and I will do the exact same thing all over tomorrow, but hopefully, actually not hopefully, I will make it happen that I do homeschool with my daughter when I get home from work. But realistically, if you are a father, you know this happens. Like, that is part of having kids, that is part of being married. You have a plan, you do your best to achieve that plan, you do your best to try to check off all the boxes of all the things you need to do, but sometimes you kind of just got to go with the flow and then pivot, adjust as needed. Like today, no need to get upset that I wasn't able to do the homeschool with her today, even though that was part of my plan. No need to get upset that I planned on coming home and having my day to my, how I wanted it to go. But if you remember correctly, that's kind of what my devotional was about this morning, and kind of what the Bible is talking about having faith, realizing that sometimes your plan doesn't work out, and there's a reason for that, and you may not know that right in that moment. And I think that is why I am so adamant about doing my daily devotional and reading every single morning, because again, it gives you perspective on the main things in life, the important things in life. And if I wouldn't have read that, maybe I wouldn't have had this perspective with just not having my schedule go exactly how I wanted it to today. So anyways, just something to think about. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys like this, make sure you guys give it a thumbs up. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and stay tuned. Like I said, for January 1st, the NYAD community is going to be launching. I will be giving you guys details as we go. I'm actually going to be offering 10 members kind of exclusive access before it launches. So again, like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you guys are following along, and then you guys are under the motto: stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, don't be average. I'll catch you guys in the next one.